Next point!
I learned a lot from being a team leader and squad leader in Iraq, and I want to spread that knowledge onto you guys. First thing I want to mention is obviously communication. Just like any relationship you have, whether you're a leader or not, communication is key. Everybody that I had on my team were there for different reasons. And myself as a leader, I had to cater to all of their needs and wants in order to keep them motivated. So I want to talk about something that specifically happened, which was that I was put into a squad leader position in charge of all the internationals in Shengal at right about the year mark of me being there. And I was only put in that position because the other squad leaders had left for training as well as to go back home. So I was kind of thrown into this position, and there's a lot of baggage that those guys had left me. They hadn't taken the concerns of my team regarding their contract length very seriously. So a lot of those guys were getting a little bit down about that. They were wondering, when am I leaving? And they're starting to panic, and they're starting to kind of like go of the chores that they have to do around the base. And obviously that's very dangerous when it comes to being in the middle of a war zone. You don't want your team to be unmotivated and have bad morale. They're going to go outside when it's dangerous. They're going to not work on the base when it's really needed because there might be an invasion. So in general, when a situation was difficult, whether it's too many tasks in a day or too physically demanding or emotionally, what I found is that I'm not always going to have to answer, but I can try. So every single day I would go down to the main base and I would ask, when is the passport going to be ready? When are we going to be able to send some of these guys back home? And I would check on it every single day, and then I would report back to them and I'd say, hey, I checked up on it today and kind of the same news, but I'm fine for you guys. And that was enough. They really cared about that. They really cared that I was stopping by there every day, no matter if I knew that the answer was going to be the same. I kept pressuring my leadership in order to get what my team needed, what my squad needed. The next thing is that complacency falls into the leader's hands a lot of times. I found that keeping my team or my squad from becoming complacent is a balance of keeping the morale up, disciplinary actions, and incentives. You can't forget the incentives. So that balance kind of looks like this. If you give them too many disciplinary actions, they're going to react badly, and they're going to kind of revolt. And if you give them too much comfort, they're going to ask for more. They're never going to have enough. You have to find that good middle ground. But if you give too many incentives, like rewards for their hard work, they can abuse it. I would abuse it. You have to think of yourself as a soldier. You're kind of, as a leader, you're kind of like a parent, you know, in a way, in a weird way. And it was a little bit easier for me because I was a regular soldier underneath somebody's command for the longest time when I was in Iraq. So I was used to this. Just a month prior, I was their bros. But being put in that leadership position, I had to sort of back off. And that's the next point I want to say. You can't really have that same relationship as you did when you were on their same level, and they're going to think of you as somebody different as well. And that's not their fault. It's a military structure. You become kind of a manager. Once you become a manager, you can't become complacent. They're going to see that, and they're going to judge you based on your merit. So you have to keep yourself up on a different level. So it was very motivating for myself, and I then had to go and be a mentor, a role model, per se. It's important to balance their work life. I went into being a squad leader after being a team leader for about 6 months. I became a team leader about 4 months in, 6 months, and then the last month squad leader. So I found it really difficult to discipline them because I was on their same level for the longest time. Nonetheless, what I did as a squad leader was give them the bare minimum. You meet bare minimum requirements and I'll be happy. And I don't think that was the right route. I don't think it was. I think we could have gotten a lot more done. I would give them every incentive possible for reaching that bare minimum requirement. And I thought that was the answer to morale. Give them less work and then, hey, you get all the incentives. That is not what they want. They are soldiers. They went there for a reason. And that's something I realize now. They went there for a reason. They want to do work whether they say it or not. That is what motivates people. That's what distracts people from having to stay up late on fire watch, having to do a bunch of manual labor, digging tunnels, or training, or defending a position. Work will set you free. All right, that's a bad quote, but it kind of does. At least for myself, I loved Shengal. Why did I love it? Because there's work all the time. We'd have like 4 hours of sleep a night. We'd wake up and, oh, boom, right into PT, right into digging, right into cement work or fixing up a farm or digging the tunnels or training. Whatever it was, we were always busy. We had no time to think about, oh, this sucks. We only had time to work. For myself, I really fed off that. I really liked it. And I think that's something I should have done as a squad leader. Give them more work. Maybe not force them. Maybe give them some more fun work. And I did see the reaction to not having much work. I would come up there after training some of the new guys, and I'd see the operation base dudes just kind of chilling outside the base. And they're kind of bored. So I thought back to being a team leader, and I thought, okay, what did I do when I was there? And what I did, which was, I think, really cool, was I know that people like training. They like messing around with their weapons. They like learning new skills, especially something military. So what I did as a team leader is every single day, for 1 hour, every single member has to give a class on something military. Medical, PKM, AK, reaction drills, whatever it was, RPG, and everybody had to do a class. And it would be one person one day for 1 hour. The next day would be somebody different. The next day, somebody different. We only had like 3 or 4 people, and it would rotate. And that way, everybody gets to learn how to be an instructor. Everybody gets to teach and talk for an hour to their team and kind of lead. So it gave them something to think about all day. Like, oh, what do I want my class to be tomorrow? Oh, I don't want to be in last place tomorrow for, Zero-PKM class. I want to go and practice it today. And people would take it seriously, and they really enjoyed that. And it was kind of a way to preoccupy their mind and also keep them ready. At the end of the day, as a leader, you can't keep the morale up. That is an individual action. Morale it's individual. Why did you come here? Why did you join? Why did you do what you did? All right, you came here, you flew over to Iraq. Why are you here, bro? You have to self-motivate yourself a lot of times. A lot of it falls in the leader's hands, but I don't think I should knock on myself that much. I know that it's an individual action. I know that for myself, being a soldier, but also as a team leader. I did everything that I could to make them have a happier life. Like less rules, have their phones, frequent food runs, like I said, so they could find comfort during dinner time. But that doesn't fix everything. That's one thing I learned. The next one, everybody's different. Everybody has different leadership skills. Everybody has different ways of leading. Everybody's a different soldier. People have different opinions, different ways of going about work. Some people like eating different foods. So I think back to being a team leader, and I had a squad leader, and that squad leader was very heavy-handed. And I know that none of us like that. I kind of enjoyed it because I like somebody just telling me exactly what to do. I get off to that. Not what I meant to say, kind of. I was driven by that. I had the reasons to be in Iraq already, where despite the sleep deprivation or constant labor, I found meaning and thus happiness in the results of my labor. But not everybody had that same motivation, as I said. Keep an open door policy, letting people know that you are willing to hear their gripes with your leadership skills, or their gripes with the organization or whatever they're in, whatever's happening. Let them know that they can talk to you. Most of the time, whatever issues that your team is having, whether it's work or life, can be dealt with just by lending an ear to the gripes of the situation, or even myself, even yourself as a leader, as I said. The biggest issue I had was often not my fault. A lot of the team had problems that they came to Iraq with. We all came with problems, all right? So I made sure not to promise anything to them. I don't want to give them broken promises. You give them one broken promise, they're gonna flip out. I know that for myself, being a soldier. When my leader would tell me something, and then the next day it's something different, wow, you can't trust them. You lose that trust. And it takes a long time to get that trust back as a leader. So when it came to trying to organize their travel home, I never lied to them. I said, hey, I checked up on it today. They say the same story. But you can't fix everything. How do I do that? I can't smuggle them home. So this actually led to quite a few desertions. Not when I was a squad leader, but afterwards, when somebody else took over. A lot of people deserved it. It wasn't even that squad leader's fault. It just happened under their command. It was the organization. It was something higher than themselves. And especially at a squad leader or team leader position, you can't give them the world. You have a lot of people above you, and those people dictate most of your life. As a leader, they have to have the utmost confidence in you. Confidence doesn't just come by giving them the world, like I said, and fighting for them whenever you can, but also your capabilities. How capable are you as a leader? Are you keeping up with your skills, leadership skills? You're not just another soldier. You have to know how to be a teacher, how to be a father. Like really, you have to be kind of a parent. Not an overbearing parent, but you're a parent. You're in charge of feeding these people. Logistics. You're in charge of making sure they're gonna come home safe. A lot of things. Are you somebody they can trust in battle? Do they feel prepared to the threats they're gonna face? Do they feel cared for? Their wants and needs, such as food or training time. These are all questions, and they have to have the confidence. And if you don't give it to them, you lose confidence. And if you lose confidence, they're not going to be your soldiers anymore. They're going to be having a lot of issues, big issues, that could really turn your unit sour. Eye-to-eye contact, big one. Sending my team to the operations base was not easy. I remember driving off and seeing 3 of them up there, knowing their life was going to be really brutal for a while. I had to go and focus on training the new guys who had came, and I decided I was going to keep them down. I didn't want to put them in the operations base, and somebody has to be in the operations tunnel. Who's going to be? Well, it's got to be the 3 other people. They only have like 10 of us. Yeah, they were stuck up there for a while. So although radios, texting, and calling exist, there's nothing more encouraging than seeing your command come up there and visit you on the front. I would come up there every single day, and if I missed a day, I would make sure to call them and be like, hey, I'm going to be there tomorrow. I'm going to bring up some food. I'm going to check on your work. I'm going to see how it is. And just having that eye-to-eye contact, having you as the leader show up, look at the work that they did and be like, yeah, nice job, guys. Or, hey, how about we take up a little bit more water into the base, all right? It's been out there for a while. Can you get inside the logistics thing, to be there and know what they have to deal with and kind of negotiate with them in person, to visually see it instead of just texting and being like, I want that water inside the logistics room by tomorrow. I remember getting that demand so many times, not only in Shengal, but in Ukraine or Syria, in the Marine Corps. The leader's just away, and it made our morale go down. It's like, what do you mean? Like, why don't you just come up and check on us, see what we have to deal with? I made it my priority to drive up and visit them and bring nice food, or just to have a good talk with them about what they did, what they like to do, or whatever it was. That's a big one. Eye-to-eye contact. The face-to-face time meant that they knew I was alive, that I didn't just disappear, I didn't run away. They could look me in the eyes and know that I still existed, and I was not abusing my power and laying in bed all day. I was out and about, I was traveling everywhere. How are you guys doing? Oh, awesome. I'm down on the base. I'm training the new guys. They're really excited to meet you. Let's make a good name for ourselves. Let's complete some work, and I'll come down there and let them know how the operations base is doing. They're doing amazing work. They're training up. They're building different things. They're taking care of business and practicing their Kurdish, making sure the Habals around us, the comrades, are happy with their work and happy about them being around and defending that position. You want it to be good news. You don't want to just neglect them for 2 months. I could have. It would have been a lot easier. Is that nice? Is that the way that it should be? Would they have gotten that same work done had I not had that face-to-face interaction? Probably not. If I was up there for 2 months straight without a leader coming up, I wouldn't have done as much. And I want to end by saying this. Work will set you free. We joined, especially as foreign fighters, because we wanted to do good work. We didn't want to just go to Iraq for 6 months or 8 months or a year and just kind of lay around. We went there for a reason. We went there to go and test ourselves physically and spiritually and mentally. That requires work. Hot sunny days in July, working in the tunnels. It means that you're gonna have to do 3-hour shifts of firewatch because there's only 3 of you defending a position. It's hard work, but it's a good story. It's a good story and it's a good time. And that is what a man wants. I think back at Jordan Peterson. I'm a big fan. And he says, carry the biggest load that you can. What is the biggest thing that you can carry on your back and just go? That's what I found in my life to be the thing that gives me the most meaning. That is what meaning is. If you don't have a big thing to carry on your back, then you don't have a drive. What's driving you to go forward? Your phone, TikTok, going to your 9-to-5 job, coming back, chilling out, nothing to worry about, eat ramen, go to bed. No, you want to carry something. You want a meaning in your life. You want something more than yourself. Well, you got to find that. And as a leader, you have to give it to them a lot of times. This is where your energy should be directed. Be the best that you can. And they'll go with it most of the time. Whether they say it or not. Whether they say, oh, I just want to be on my phone all day. No. Give them work. You'll see the results. And that's all I want to say today. You know, I've been wanting to make this video for a while. I was never trained as a leader in the Marine Corps. I am kind of winging it whenever I'm a leader, but I do find it very enjoyable. And it helped me be an instructor. When I was in Ukraine, being able to round up the cats and train them and be like, all right, get motivated. We're going to do some work. It helps a lot. I did find a lot of the same skills that I learned in Iraq helped in Ukraine. And yeah, that's all I want to say. I hope you guys learned something. If you guys are going to be leaders in the future, think back in my words. Work will set you free. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for listening. Peace.